Good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ida Farhat. Welcome to Cosmic Rue, and I have a special guest. I'm going to refer to you as Grace, or better known as Pigtail Girl.
Yeah, you can call me Pigtails for short as well. It's just obviously on Facebook, just so people know. I've had numerous personas. None of them at all are my real names. And I've lost dozens of accounts. So Pigtail Girl is what I'm known for my video chats, especially around consciousness. But you can find me on Facebook as Grace Hope.
Okay, very good. Welcome, Pigtail Girl. I know you as Grace Hope, but that's okay. So Grace is a self-professed wizard. Pigtail Girl is a seer. Okay, there we go. I apologize.
You can call me whatever. I answer to all of it. Don't you worry.
Okay. Self-professed wizard. Pigtail Girl is a seer, healer, artist, explorer of consciousness, and entertainer. Pigtail, as she is also known, is an amazing intuitive healer with a profound understanding of subconscious mind's influence over the body and our health. She has helped hundreds of people all over the planet reach their potential for healing and wellness. Originally from the UK, London, April 1975, I believe you were born. Is that your birthday?
That's my birthday. Okay. I'm getting old.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm a bit older. She recently resides in Spain with a loving husband and her daughter, whom she homeschools, a woman of many talents that all connect back to consciousness and frequency. From a 90s club DJ and singer talented in harmonies to a healer gifted in her senses and extrasensory perceptions. Pigtail Girl is well known for her groundbreaking work with Starfire Tour and the amazingly powerful missions the two of them co-created to help free Mother Earth and all life on her from eons of slavery and manipulation. Together, this dynamic duo guided thousands of warriors of light, wizards, in collective astral work that ease forest fires and help balance the forces of light and dark to give freedom a chance of blossoming. Pigtail Girl has dedicated herself to the pursuit of happiness, a state of being that comes about when one is whole, balanced, and standing in one's own power. Pigtails has unleashed her inner wizard and can help others to do the same. Welcome. That was a lot, but I know that you are a powerful woman, and I can't wait to hear what you're going to be sharing with us today. So the topic is about self-sabotage in relationships and how we move forward. People have a real tough time with changing behaviors or getting out of the programming. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I get the chance to read some of your posts and, follow you on Facebook and connect sometimes. And one of your posts that you made, that's what made me reach out to you, I thought was pretty profound. Worthy of having you on for sure, was you did a post here that said, if you're not taught how to have healthy relationships growing up, you'll end up with a pathological consciousness stuck in the body mind that will then sabotage your future relationships. The minute anyone shows you real affection, you will begin subconsciously sabotaging the connection. Perhaps the person will begin to irritate you, make you feel anxious, and you begin to pick holes in them. Notice all their faults, anything to stop you accepting any loving connection. You will either heal this or cope by talking yourself into believing you are better off alone. So Please elaborate on that post, because I thought that was pretty telling. I know for my own self, I have sabotaging behaviors. I do my best to stay aware and, but I'm not perfect in that. And I do a lot of shadow work behind my own fears and my own inadequacies and so forth. So please share with us.
Well, yeah, Ada, that's brilliant. Even just the fact that you're noticing that there's work to be done is already a fantastic step forward that many don't take, sadly, because they don't even recognize there's any problem. So first of all, I'd like to go to the beginning about what is the subconscious mind exactly. So the subconscious mind is the part of our consciousness that's really running the show most of the time. 95% of our actions, thoughts, and emotions and physical systems are being run by the subconscious mind. So we should probably take a little moment just to thank it and thank you, subconscious mind, for doing so much for me. But at the same time, excuse me, it can be your greatest friend or it can be your greatest foe. And when it's being friend or foe, it's doing it just from programming. The same way a program in a computer runs, it's the same with the subconscious mind. And how those programs are getting in there is basically from the moment you are in the gestation period, even. So the minute you've been created, you start to grow and form, and already you are being imprinted from the consciousness and subconsciousness of the mother and father, and their energies are already going into your subconscious mind as you grow in the womb, believe it or not. And then as you will come out, from the minute you're born, you have your what I call the formative years. We know them, the formative years. And from the point you come out, you are just going to be programmed. How we are programmed is through repetition, and we are programmed via the five senses. So your five senses are how you take in data, and then you're going to store it in the subconscious mind. That's what you're going to do. So for many people who know about AIs and computers, it's basically built as a mirror to how a human is built, because it's exactly works the same way we work, because we're always creating in our image. So, you know, everything's creating something that's a bit like itself. So with an AI, how you train an AI is you fill it with data. You just fill it with data. And it's the same with us. We are literally just sponges from the minute we come out. We're filled with data. And then whether we like it or not, this has built systems within our subconscious mind that are then going to generate reactions. Every fear, every phobia, allergies, intolerances, reactions, emotions, they're all going to be getting triggered now from that subconscious mind based on what data we've put in there. So a great way to give this as an example of how it's going to affect relationships, and what I see a lot is many children grow up and they don't have the perfect family. You know, they don't have functional parents. Maybe they have dysfunctional siblings or no siblings at all. But if you're growing up in a household and your first the first data that you're receiving, the programming you're receiving about intimacy, so intimate connection, physical touch, say your only physical touch as you grow up is to be slapped, right? You don't get hugs, but you get beaten because you're being punished for bad behavior. So when I was growing up, that was quite normal, that you would get slaps and beaten when you were misbehaving. And what that's going to generate, if you're not getting any positive affection, the subconscious mind is going to start associating affection and intimacy with pain and punishment. So that's how you're going to start storing it. Pain and punishment. There's no programming that affection is something loving and nurturing and feels nice. So we're starting to associate touch and intimacy with something aggressive. So obviously we're going to get fears around it, phobias around it, negative reactions towards it. And of course, that's what you're going to get. So then when we get to say 18, 19, we leave home. And now, you know, we've got our genetic memory too. We've got our mammalian responses and automations that makes us want to find a partner, build a home, have offspring. You know, we have that already in our genetic memory. But then you've got all that programming now that's going to be sabotaging you from being able to receive that affection that you so desperately need. And it's very sad to watch it, actually, because some children are starved of affection. So what they will do is they'll seek affection in dangerous ways, perhaps getting drunk and having meaningless sex with someone that they meet in the club, but never being able to commit to any long-term intimacy or closeness, because when they do, they're going to start reacting to that. They're going to feel irritated, or it can even get to the point where the skin becomes sore to touch. Like if you've been beaten as a child, when you go to have an affection, it becomes irritating. Your skin can actually start to not enjoy being touched because the five senses are being are reacting to those programs that is still running in that subconscious mind back there. And it's affecting all of our sensory perceptions within the body. It's also affecting our hormonal responses as well, whether we're going to be releasing the oxytocin or not when we are touched. Because if every time we're touched, we don't get taught to release the oxytocin, then we'll stop releasing it. And when we get touched, we'll just release the cortisol, or the adrenaline, because we'll associate with that. So all of these are triggers. Now, it sounds very daunting, right? You think, oh God, well, what do I do? But at the same time, the subconscious mind is easily programmed. It's quite easily programmed via repetition. And you can delete the negative programs that are running in there. It's not all doom and gloom, but I think the thing that people have difficulty with is understanding, A, how do I do that? And B, how do I even ascertain what exactly are my problems? What are my triggers? This is what I've dedicated my life to. I've dedicated my life to studying by observation, human behavior, human consciousness, what makes us tick. And yeah, it's like I'm nearly 49 years old now. And I've got, since I was a teenager, I've been obsessively studying human behavior, psyche, consciousness, subconscious mind, all of these things that make us human. Now, the good news is there is help for you if you find yourself stuck in, oh, I'm just unlucky. Oh, I just can't make friends. Oh, I'm never going to be this. I can never have that. All of these lies we tell ourselves coming from something in our childhood. We can shift those things by doing the same thing that was done to us during our childhood. We can reprogram the subconscious mind and take control of it. And some of the ways I like to do this, other than using a body talk or healing techniques or going to see a professional for professional help, is just by affirmations, subliminals, using post-it notes even in your environment, reminding yourself of your triggers, or with positive affirmations that could overlay the negative ones. So a really great example for that is like a woman grows up, and as she's a teenager, she's looking in magazines, and every single woman she sees is perfect and slim and looks nothing like her. So in her subconscious mind now, she has a belief that this is how beauty is. This is what women are supposed to look like. And the way she looks is not acceptable, is not beautiful, because if it was, it would be in the magazine, right? So, but by putting stickers around your environment and continuously telling yourself every time you have that negative thought, when you look in the mirror and you say something critical in your own voice to yourself, like, oh God, look, look, I'm fat. Oh, look at that. That's your moment. That's your moment to say no to that voice. And I've developed in my own consciousness 2 voices. So I've got the subconscious mind voice, maybe that's in the shadow. And then I've got the conscious cheerleader voice that's going to over talk that negative subconscious chit-chat that comes at me. Mm-hmm. So it's very important to develop different voices and being aware, is this the voice of my conscious mind? Or is this voice coming from a subconscious reaction that I have as a repetitive thing, that every time I look in the mirror, my voice starts telling me a negative belief about myself as I look at myself, that's then going to affect the way I actually even perceive myself through my 5 senses in that mirror. So yeah, you can use the cheerleader voice to put positive affirmations to reprogram and become louder than the negative voice. Right. That's really important. That's going to go so far. And I'm not going to lie, it can take dedication to do it. You have to be on it. You can't let it slip. You have to be, oh no, there's that negative voice, that remembering where it came from, where the belief came from. Oh, you can't do that. You'll never do that. You're fat. You're ugly. You're useless. These negative things we tell ourselves. Get that cheerleader voice. You can do it. You're amazing. You look fantastic. You're healthy. You're glorious. You don't need to look like a model in a magazine to be gorgeous and sexy and feel great. And tell yourself the things that somebody else didn't tell you to reprogram that programming. And I think it takes about 6 weeks of overlaying with the cheerleader voice to really stop that voice from then reappearing. I've seen it change quite quickly. When I was using that method, it took me about 6 weeks. I'd stick to it, and I would find that I would no longer have that voice telling me that that thing anymore. So you
Well,
can
that's interesting that you say that. If you don't mind, if I respond to everything you said, and I think everything you said, I don't think I know it. I know it works, and that's fantastic, and I appreciate that. And I'm actually working on. So I have had a big issue recently with, because I don't know computers, and I feel like I can't get them. Like, I feel like there's something in me that prevents me from really learning. I mean, I know the basics, but nothing more. Like, just even creating a thumbnail is like overwhelming to me. And I have a 6th grade education. I left, so I was used in the projects and programs and all kinds of stuff. And I'm not going to get into that. But so now, as an adult, a 55-year-old grown woman trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing, where I'm going with my life, what I'm wanting to create, and so forth. And so I don't have the negative thoughts of looking in the mirror and saying, oh, you're whatever. I've always been pretty confident in myself, even at my size now. My issue is my intelligence, being able to complete a task, because I struggle with focus, and I get, scattered a bit. And so I'm doing other exercises to try to work through that some. But I love what you said. I often say, when I have thoughts, I just say, is there something else available, please? I don't consent to this whatever it is, because I get some really yucky thoughts sometimes. I keep wanting to call you Grace. That's what I know.
If you want to, you can, because that is my Facebook name. I'm not offended by it.
Okay, very good. So, and I know they're not my heart, right? And I'm like, where is this coming from? Just horrible thoughts sometimes. Nowhere near how it used to be, because I used to feel like I was like being psychically attacked and so forth. But I do protection things, and I clear, and I just don't give it my energy. If it's something really, like out of like ridiculous, I just stop and command my sovereignty and my consciousness to be clear of any outside influences.
That's good. Yeah. And people do need to do that. I just want to mention that a few people say, oh, I don't need to protect myself. I believe nothing bad happens to me, therefore it doesn't. But psychic attack is a real thing. And the more you activate energetically, you attract, like moths to a flame, psychic attack. And that's a real thing. And you do need to use protection. So just wanted to add that in there.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So let's talk more about what you do. So I appreciate everything that you shared. So Body Talk, I've noticed, some of your posts referencing the work that you do and inviting people, if they're interested, to, book a session with you. Do you want to share a little bit about that? Because I know that you had said that you have to get off in just a little bit, and I would love for people to get a better understanding of what it is that you do, and possibly reach out to you and maybe book a session to see if they can help.
Yeah. I actually wanted to make a few comments, and it will sort of link into the body talk.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, about what you were saying about the computer and how you react to things. So this is very interesting, because this is also to do with the consciousness and subconscious mind. So we in Body Talk have something called switching. Now, switching is a stress response that when we have a belief that something is too difficult for us to do, and it is a belief, it's a concept. We could be, when women were growing up, like when I was young, I wasn't allowed to touch the computer in my house. It was for the boys. It was my brother's computer, and girls were not allowed to touch it. So when my husband met me, I didn't even know how to turn a computer on. He had to show me, and I had a kind of block towards it. And it came from my childhood, because I was told that girls couldn't use computers. It was only for the boys. And I actually became a DJ, which was only for the boys too, back when I started it. So there's all these things in our consciousness and concepts about whether things are for us. So we can already have a slight aversion or blockage on something. And what this causes, when you can't focus and you can't concentrate every time you try to learn how to do something, is called a switching response. And this literally does stop your brain being able to concentrate. And it's a stress response done by the body. Now, in Body Talk, we have something for switching where we massage these points in the chest here. And this helps us release the stress response that we're having towards the computer, say. And then we also press on our eyes for a moment until we see the black and white. You know, when you press on your eye, you have this response where you can start to see sort of black and white ants. So you press on the eyes as you to access the parts of the brain that's giving you the stress response. And then you massage these 2 points here and here, which are actually linking down to the kidneys, actually. Okay. So this is just something that you can do to bring yourself out of that switching mode, which we go into, which stops us being able to function correctly. So you might find that when you're looking at a cooking recipe, it might be quite complex, but because you're comfortable with it, you can take it in. It's easy. You can do it no problem. But then as soon as you try to read something about a car or a computer, suddenly your brain gets scrambled and you go into switching mode, which is like, I can't do this, and you lose all concentration and ability to take in information. So this is something called a switching response. And this, again, is caused from beliefs we have in the subconscious mind about the task that we're doing, and how when we perceive something to be too difficult for us, it creates a switching response that tries to shut our system down for us, to protect us from something that the subconscious mind is seeing as a negative, right? The subconscious mind is always trying to protect us, right? And stop us from hurting ourselves or being in discomfort, actually. So it has these responses that sometimes aren't that helpful, but it thinks, or it doesn't really think, it just responds. Its responses believe in the moment that it's helping you in some way. So there is help. You can remove these switching responses. You can bring your physical and energetic system into alignment with the concept of computers. So that's the thing. You can tell yourself that it's easy. And when you tell yourself things, I want to share with your viewers, I'm going to move my camera, a small tap that we do. This is going to help introduce you a little bit to Body Talk. So why we do this tap, so I'm going to be like, I am in total alignment with using computers. It's easy for me to use computers. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to tap the left and right brain. And what I'm doing is my body is always scanning. The body mind is always scanning for information. And this is me bringing online my scanning device in my brain so it knows it needs to pay attention. So I'm bringing it instant. Okay, this is the new information coming in. It's easy for me to use computers. It's so easy. I find it effortless. And then I'm going to tap on my heart and I'm going to say the same thing. It's so easy for me to use computers. It's effortless. Oh my God, it's so easy. I can do it in my sleep. You know, say it with passion. Then you tap the enteric mind. The Body Talk system works on the mind here, the three minds, the heart mind and the enteric mind, which is the intestines where the belly button area is. And that's where your inner child energy is kept. Your discernment comes from the intestines, and your joy, your happiness. A lot of information is in that enteric mind. So you tap there and you say it again. Oh, it's so easy for me to use computers. It's effortless. It's natural to me. You know, say whatever the statement is you want to say. And as you say it every day and do this little tap until you find that it's now effortless for you to do it. And that's a very simple Body Talk technique. You can use at home for anything, any affirmation you want to do. And all the tapping is doing, I call it the Trinity tap. It's just bringing all the systems of your body online within the body mind, so it can scan and remove anything that's conflicting with the incoming data, and it can store the incoming data. And that's what we do in Body Talk. What we do in Body Talk in a session, which is we scan someone's body and then we will ask it questions using our technique, using our protocol. And what we're doing is we're looking for something that's a bug in a program. We're looking for the bug in the program. Okay, there's this belief system and it's linking into this organ, which is linking into the nervous system, and it's linking into this memory stored in the heart, and it's linking into the energetic system, leading to an allergy. And once we've identified this whole formula, then we do a simple technique and we remove it. And then that bug in the system is gone. And
that's amazing. I love everything you just shared. I've been looking into taking a tapping course. I want to add some things to my services. I do ionic detox, and I just recently bought a machine that offers terahertz and PMF And I can't wait to get it because there are so many people leaving testimonies on how they feel since using this machine and some of the changes that are happening in their health and have their energy and so forth. So, but I want to get more into doing emotional body work and so forth. So, something similar, but I'm going to have to start practicing that because anything that challenges my idea of whether I can learn a thing or not, I shut down. And I find, yeah, it's I don't know if you want to call it a trauma response or a stress response, like what you said, where I just shut down and want to go, I find something else to do.
Yeah.
So that I don't have to focus on, because literally my body goes into this, I don't know how to even explain it. It's like this intensity, like where I'm like anxiousness is coming up, and then I just go the other way because
you can call it switching. That's the name
or
for it.
switching.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a switching response.
yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah. It's not comfortable at all, and it's had me in tears at one point because I just felt like I was not going to be able to learn what I need to do the kind of work I want to do. You have to know computers. I hate to say it. I mean, my friend who I'm working with, who is I will call her a coach, said, Ida, we're living in the days of computers. So I have news for you. Like we're in a technology age. You have to have some kind of skill set when it comes to computers. And I just feel like you can have me cook, clean, do emotional work. Like I'm really good at sitting with people and holding space and helping them to identify some of their own challenges. But I don't like computers, Grace. I don't. And, so it's interesting you brought up AI. So I know that I have AI that runs through my body. And I'm very forthright about or open about that. I can see it. Like I have something in this right eye. I was told that I was left at the hospital for 2 or 3 days when I was a baby because there was an infection in my right eye tear duct. I now know is an implant. It's called a scorpion implant, which is connected to my optic nerve through my body. And this AI, it's like what's the word? It's like it's a neuro linked network within my body. I believe from being augmented as a baby, being used in these projects and programs. So it's not me thinking it. It is. I can see it. I used to lay in the sun and I'd roll my eye around. I'm like, what is this? But I'm thinking everybody it's just this. It looks like a jumbled up wires, and then it has like pieces coming off of it, and then nodes. There's nodes on it, like these little like bubble. It looks like a bubble, like a small bubble, like a node, like it's in a knot kind of thing. You know how like you tie things in a knot and then it has that little, and I always wondered what it was, but I just went on with life. Like anytime I look into a computer or a light, or if I'm out in the sun, I mean, I just roll it around and look at it like, what is that? And I was told that it's called a scorpion implant. But I was also told that I broke programming from the trauma-based mind control and the things that I experienced. So don't misunderstand me. I don't see myself as a victim in any way. I've done a great deal of healing and so forth. But now I'm just coming out of this like dark night of the soul kind of thing, which was a long process for me because I was very angry and upset to find out that some of the things I experienced as a kid was part of my programming and training and whatever. So I'm now I wouldn't say it's been going on for years, but little by little, but this year is like the year for me to really get on top of my like feel strong enough to be confident in what I want to do. Like, I have a lot of knowledge. I know a lot of things, but learning how to put them in a or put it in a structured way where I can share my story and not be scrambled all over the place, because I do believe my DNA was scrambled. You know, it's not just a belief. Like, I had some experiences that give me a good reason to believe that these things took place. And so I'm working through that and really accepting and owning my part in why at a soul level would I agree to be part of these projects and programs, right? And so forth, because it's so easy for people. And I think this is important what I'm sharing, because I think I'm hoping that people will see this video and hear your passion and your divine intelligence, that if they are struggling in any way, they'll reach out to you to make an appointment. And that's something that I may consider in the future. I've got some things coming up, so it won't be anytime soon, but I've been watching you for some time. So, and I'm very particular about who I work with.
Yeah.
But I think that so many people are there. So a lot of people are going through their awakening, their process, their activation, whatever you want to call it, their ascension. And there's a lot of fear around it because of their gifts come online, and then they're able to, there are entities that are able to see you. I mean, I know that because I had a full-blown Kundalini activation, and I had military, my house got like a lot of things happened during this time. And it was time for my mission at that time that I wasn't, I didn't fully understand. But I think it's important that people find people like you that are a grounded, intelligent woman who really is wanting to help humanity, help those that are ready for the work. Because we need more of that, Grace. We really do. Like, people talk really good, but it's like, okay, are you doing the work? And, what are you doing to help yourself? And I don't say that in an aggressive way. I'm saying that, like, because I observe, I watch, I observe, and I'm capable of reading energy and tapping into people. And it's not a judgment. It's just like, people are really good at putting on presenting themselves one way, and behind the scenes, they're behaving like idiots. I'll just say that. And we need more, and especially women, we need more women coming together and supporting one another in our work and in our healing process, and lifting each other up rather than, I'm not interested in competition. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I don't think I'm prettier than, I give all my sisters, I think you all are beautiful. And I'm so thankful for the women that I've been able to connect to, like yourself, through Facebook. So we complain about all the nonsense, but really there's a powerful thing happening where we're making connections and able to, assist one another, or at least support, at the very least, say, I see you, thank you. And I'm saying that to you right now. I see you, and I've seen you for years. And I think the work you're doing is so needed and helpful. And the posts that you've made throughout the years have really, gave me an aha, or a moment of having a greater understanding about a thing, whatever it might be, like the one that I shared. So I'll be quiet and I'll let you. Yeah. Because I don't want to talk. I can talk. I'm a talker.
It's great to hear. No, it's great to hear your story. And this world is full of weird and wonderful things going on. And it is really the time for us to lift each other up and find our way out of all the trauma. Because again, I believe that there's so much collective trauma on this planet. As far as I can tell, we've been a planet at war for about 5,000 years. I mean, I don't know how long exactly, but I'm saying that because, like, even in the times of the ancient Egyptians, that's not really ancient history. It's really quite recent history. But we can see we've been on and off in sort of war, slavery. Humans have been mistreated. We've had stories given to us. We've been forced into ways of thinking, forced into behaviors. Punishment and reward has been used on us so much. So we're just a very traumatized group of beings now, with a lot of PTSD within the psyche of humanity. And of course, we have our own conscious mind, subconscious mind, but then there's the collective conscious and subconscious, the id, the conscious id, and we're all affected by it. So if all we do is attack it, or if we're selfish and we just add more garbage to it, then it's just growing. We are literally just growing that energetic that most of us don't really want to see. And that's really the thing that is annoying about the subconscious mind, because even in your own life, the things you don't want to see, it's going to help bring it into effect, because we don't understand the power of consciousness. And especially when it's subconscious, so it's just doing things without, any control over it. And it's like that for us as a collective. We've got this collective id that we're all feeding into. And there are many, awful things, of course, happening on the planet, like what you were explaining about what you've been through. And I've even got a friend on Facebook as well. He's showing photos of these little, like, nano weird parasite things all embedded into his body that is pulling out. And when he goes to the doctor, they tell him there's nothing there, and there's nothing wrong with him, but he's got slides and slides and petri dishes full of all these weird objects. He's just like, and they're moving, and like he's pulling them out of his body. So we can see that we're sort of a group of beings that are often under attack, and we're often under attack and defenseless in ways against this attack, unless we come together, which is that's where our power is. And one of my absolute passions in life is, one, showing people back to their own power and their own health within their own subconscious mind and conscious mind, physical body, emotional, spiritual self, and getting them in their own unique power, not my idea of power, their own unique power that's unique to them. And then helping people, because we really need to then come together and use our powers collectively, because it's like, if you're always in a state of just healing self and trying to survive, we're very easy to then keep manipulating generation after generation, because it's like you're so lost in your own journey of healing. Then it's hard to then see the greater picture about healing collectively, because we're kind of distracted with our own journeys. And it's kind of time consuming, actually, healing the self, especially when there's just layer after layer, and then there's new traumas. It becomes a never ending journey. So the idea of us all coming together, supporting each other, lifting each other up at this time, it's such an important message to put out there, and to be really conscious as well of our subconscious triggers that can cause blockages between people as well, within the communication, because all this triggering that we see today, again, it's all linking back to the subconscious mind. We can become triggered online, we can argue, and then we're creating more of that warlike energy that's feeding all of this negative false matrix energy on the planet. If we can just step out of that, if you're to control even the conscious communications you make, if you're feeling triggered, just step back and then just don't respond. It's better to just go, okay, why am I feeling triggered? Even if it's justified, could be justified. That person pushed your button. Maybe they said something awful. Right? It's true. Some people, they can say just totally, but still, your power starts here. Well, what can I add to this energetic? I can just move away from it. I can just not respond and decide to use my power instead over here. Oh, look, my friend needs some help sharing her product. Instead of being triggered and wasting my energy arguing with this person I don't know, I'm going to go and share my friend's competition she's entering. I'm going to put my energy there, right? I'm going to focus on Ada's podcast, and I'm going to go and be her guest, and then I'm going to share that with my followers. So I'm choosing at this time where to put my energy. Where am I going to get more bang for my buck? Do I want to put my energy into negative war, enslavement energy, or do I want to put it into lifting up energy, peaceful energy, unified?
Yes, that's right. I love that, Grace. Yes. Yes.
Because we need that.
I totally just saw that whole, yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I always say sharing is caring. It takes me, even if someone's got a product that I don't want to buy, my friend might want to buy it. So as far as I'm concerned, rather than go on Amazon and just give someone I don't know, I'd rather someone buy from my friend. She's making a little bracelet, or he's doing his photography and he wants to leg up. Yeah, I'm gonna be helping that person out, because it's time now. It's really, really past time for humanity to stop
And that's also
energy.
The way we help each other build our own wealth, rather than depending on, like you said, giving it out to these big corporate. I can't say, I had to do taxes yesterday and I can't stand it. and I don't, I'm on disability and I work part-time. And I don't want to be on disability anymore. And I'm now saying it publicly. Like I appreciate the help that I've received, because I went through suicide programming and all kinds of other stuff. And just know I'm sharing these things, but I've moved past all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
But there's a fear that I'm not going to be able to take care of myself on my own. Mm-hmm. That if I come off, that I'm not going to be able to create the life I want to create for myself.
Right.
And I do it. And I don't have a husband. I don't have children. I have my dog. Like, my life has been very different. I'll just say I'm the youngest of 12 kids, Grace. The youngest. And I have a younger brother and sister that my father had after my mom and dad split up. It's a long story. And when I have guests on, I do my best not to talk about my own stuff, but it's kind of like,
it can be relevant. So
it is relevant. And there was a lot of trauma. I recently lost a sister, although I see death much different than a lot of, I don't know how for me, I feel like she was really extremely traumatized. I won't go into that story, but she was suffering pretty badly. And she was I think, getting ready to turn 70. And it just got to the point. And I was ready, I feel that she was ready to leave her body and be done with it. And I did talk to somebody who told me that she came through in a reading, and I'm a little skeptical of those things, but even though I know you can connect with, but anyways, we had a memorial for her yesterday, and I see so much need just every day being out. Well, I'll say the past few days have been pretty amazing. Like, people have been really kind and, opening. I've always been the person to hold the door open for somebody or help an elderly or whatever. It's just my nature. Like, I don't feel like it's a natural thing for me to do that. But I notice more people are doing or being kinder and more, not as aggressive or more, wanting to engage. And I think that's lovely. And I don't know if that has to do with the eclipse that we just went through, but I definitely, do you feel a rise in consciousness? Like, do you feel like things are lightening up a bit?
Yeah, I do. I feel like, just as a race, I say a race, I'm talking about the human race. I'm not talking about any colored race. I call the human race. That's all of us. We're all unified. We're all one family. And I just feel like we're just getting to the point now where we're tired of the separation and the nonsense. And I can see, like, even my husband has made a comment now. He grew up in France, and he was an immigrant from Algeria. And there used to be a lot of racism and hostility within the society against Algerians, because there'd been a war between France and Algeria. So there was, people didn't want to rent their house to an Algerian. They thought they were all criminals. So there was this, he grew up in that energy. And he said to me recently how he goes back to France, and it's amazing. Everyone's just getting on so well with each other. It's like people want to be connected and form community. And where there used to be racism, then there's now, like, he sees everyone just getting along and just really loving each other and connecting and sharing, neighbors sharing with each other. And the whole paradigm has shifted from how it used to be.
That. I'm so happy to hear that. Just to hear, seriously, I am so happy to hear that. That's my biggest passion. And I'm really good at bringing people together. I'm good at, networking and linking people up. Like, I definitely will be encouraging everybody to reach out to you, those that are ready for this type of work that you offer. I think it's important that we support each other, but more importantly, that we can just say, hey, I see you. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for helping the collective. Thank you for every individual that's reaching out to you and getting what they need to help them to propel forward and move through their traumas to be able to heal. I think ultimately, those of us that are wanting connection, because you hear you came into this world alone and you'll leave alone and you have to be. No, I love connection. I love people. I have a great passion for humanity, be it the street corner drug dealer or the president of the United States. I can hold a conversation with either. Like, I don't get caught up in, I'm not saying this. Well, what is different with the street corner drug dealer as opposed to the president of the United States with what we're dealing with right now? I'm just saying. I mean,
Right.
it's all, and then you got all this craziness going on with and I'm Palestinian, Grace. I'm half Palestinian, Irish, Scottish.
Ah, interesting mix.
Yes, or
Right.
Scottish, Irish.
So that's where the
whichever
surname comes from.
What for hot?
Fahad. Is that Arabic
That's
surname?
Palestinian. So
Palestinian.
yes, and my mother was Scottish, Irish, and she was the only child, and her mother was the youngest of 13. Had my mother, and then my mother turned around and had 12. And yes, and I'll tell you, Grace, it blew my mind. So I don't have anything near me. I quit putting family pictures out because it just made me feel whatever. I just decided that it was probably best that I don't do that, but I hold her close in my heart. But she was a beautiful woman. I mean, it blew my mind when she passed away. I was there right next to her when she left her body. And but right before we were changing her linen, her pajamas, because she was, we brought her home. She was prepared to go. Mm-hmm. And I looked at my mother's body after 12 kids. I saw her naked for the first time in my life. And I looked at, I'm like, her body was beautiful. She had the most beautiful body, 12 kids, no stretch marks. Like, it just blew my mind. I didn't expect that. And she was an amazing woman, and she was. And I had a lot of anger towards her, and I was able to make amends and heal and our relationship. And then I found myself, because there was a time I couldn't be around her for a minute. Like, everything she did triggered me. Mm-hmm. Like, she could not move her hands right, and something's wrong, like constantly, because I grew up in a lot of trauma, and she had to work to raise 12 kids. So she wasn't there. She didn't know what was taking place. And yeah. And she said to me, she said, Ida, as a mother, you don't pick one child. Oh, what did I just do? Are you there?
Yeah, I see you.
There it goes. My mouse, I moved my mouse and it covered but anyway, she was saying that she, as a mother, you don't pick one child over the other. And I said to her, well, if one of your children is harming your other child, you protect your child.
Yeah.
But she grew up in a very, I think in the 40s, 30s when she was born. I can't remember what year she was born, but and my grandmother was real strict, and yeah, I think she had her own challenges and traumas that she was working through. But I said to her, Mom, your children love you. And she said, yes. And she said, but I know, that some of them, I didn't care for the things that they were doing. And I just, at that point, just knew she was dealing with it the best she could. Doesn't mean she didn't agree. She just didn't know how to make the choice to how to protect me. She wasn't protected, right? And I swear, Grace, I'd wake up and couldn't wait to make her coffee or make her something to eat. And I wanted to hear her stories. And she was so intriguing to me at that point. Like, it was just like something just lifted out of my heart. Anyways, I didn't mean to get into all that, but yeah, I know you have to go. And I'm so happy to finally meet you. And it just pulls me to you even more because I think you're amazing. And I mean that.
Thanks, Ada. And thank you for being amazing too, doing your hard work over there too. Every person who's on the healing path, I have the utmost respect for and so much gratitude, because it is the hard work. That is the hard work to do here. The cleanup crew.
Well, that's right. Well, that's so funny because my sister. So when I first woke up, I went through a bit of spiritual bypassing and thinking I was better than everybody, and not consciously, but that was my behavior. Like, you eat meat and you this, or no, there's Dracos and reptilians and like all this. My family in particular, right? Because I
Yeah.
start being able to see them. Like I have reptilian in my family, and I'm a Pleiadian, and I know that I am a Pleiadian. I am not human in the way people understand human, and it doesn't make me special or different. Or I'm not out there in la la land somewhere. Like, I'm fully aware of who and what I am. Anyways, but because of all the stuff with the Pleiadian and reptilian wars that have taken place for billions of years here, I don't know how long, but a long time, and it's playing out here on this planet. I think we're learning to love one another and come together in a big way. Those of us that have done the work and really see each other as divine source energy, regardless of what star nation you come from. If you believe that, I know it. I was really pompous and like just ridiculous, and I own it. When I first woke up, I was so
great.
aggressive.
Yeah, you have to own it. You have to take responsibility. You have to, and then laugh at it. Don't have to judge.
Oh, I do now. I'm like, who
That's
the
it.
hell did you think?
Yeah. Whatever. That was you then, but then you moved on because learning is it's a process, right? When I look back, where I was where I needed to be in that moment to get me to where I am now. So sometimes you have to go through that period. I remember when I went through my spiritual awakening. Yeah, I went through all weird delusional thoughts and messiah complexes, and I'd had this message from God. Was I a prophet? And I was only 20 and no one had talked to me about any of this stuff. I didn't know what was going on. I'd been a 90s raven. Suddenly I was getting messages and visions from God. Yeah, it got all a bit up there. And then I had to laugh at myself and go, girl, and then I realized I didn't even know what a messiah complex was. Back then, I quickly learned.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, no, you're not this mystical. You start telling yourself, am I Eve from the Garden of Eden? Because I found this book and I've got a snake in my back. And you start getting these weird messiah because God's talking to me. Must mean I'm special. Maybe I'm the reincarnation of Jesus, or maybe I'm this. And then you wake up and you go, oh God, no, girl, no, that wasn't it at all.
Right.
You were none of that. That's all nonsense.
Well, that's interesting that you use that analogy because I have some memories that are pretty profound. And I do know that I hold Magdalene DNA, Grace. There's 9 of us on the planet. I know people want it to whatever, but this I know, and I've had enough confirmation from other people that are able to tap into DNA and read whatever. And I have memory of past lives, but that's not who I am today.
That's
it. That's what I remind myself. I am here to evolve and grow, not to get stuck. And it was just like you said, there was this spiritual, like I'm so-and-so and whatever. And then I felt like I failed myself big time because I went through severe targeting, and I mean severe. And I'm not going to get into it, but it was pretty bad. So, but I'm so thankful that I came through all that, and I'm still able to love and still able to, want good things for humanity and not feel like, it was just, that's what I was going to say to you. My sister, I remember talking to her, and all I kept saying to her is, I want to heal. And Frida was like, Ida, do you think you've already think about everything that you've already done? Like, how about take a break for a minute? Go enjoy yourself. Go have some fun. Because everything became so serious for me. Right. And I got caught up in that whirlwind of, I can't do anything. I don't want to be a part of 3D. All the nonsense. And I'm finally coming out of that. And it feels so fantastic. Do you ever come to the US? Do you ever come over here?
I have been a few times, not recently. No, but I've spent quite a lot of trips in the USA. I've done massive road trips all over the USA. I've spent at least 6 months in the USA, I would say, in my life. But I would love to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love.
Yeah.
So we have. I'm working with a guy, Brian Singh. If you see down here, full disclosure. Now we have some pretty. Miles Johnson is coming over from the UK. He's coming to be a presenter at the conference. But anyways, the reason I'm bringing it up, I wish you were closer because you would come. We have something called the Day of Being, Grace, that Zach Fisher and Sue Fisher are doing, where people just come from all over the United States, and some may fly in from other countries. I don't know. But we meet up on the beach, and it's just like a day of big fun and love, and everybody's just so like, this is heaven on earth. This is what we're creating, right? Unity and wholeness and support. We don't have to agree with everything each other says, but people are coming together in a unified way and saying, we're choosing love over our differences.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So well put, Ada. That was just perfect.
Yeah.
You put that so perfectly.
Oh, you're awesome. Well, I definitely would love to have you come back on. Maybe I could be a little bit more structured and, having more questions and so forth. I know there was a little issue with your time zone, my time zone, and trying to put everything together. But I've enjoyed this conversation with you. I'm very thankful for you coming on, Grace. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. If you want to let people know where they can find you, and if they want to book a session, I have added all your links in the comment section for Facebook and YouTube. So people, if you're interested in reaching out to Pigtail Girl or Grace Hope, you'll find her on Facebook.
They can go if they want to schedule body talk sessions with me. If you don't know what body talk is still, you can always Google it or go on YouTube. There's information on body talk. It's a fantastic, simple, non-invasive system that gets remarkable results. It is life-changing work. And I'm absolutely so blessed that I found out about it and got to be a practitioner of it. So you can go to my Calendly link for body talk session bookings, personal subliminals, tarot readings like intuitive tarot. And then if you want, you can go to my Subliminal Junkie YouTube channel for free healing subliminals that help you reprogram the subconscious mind. So I have a lot of things on offer there for free that you can just jump in right away and start using. And you can find me on the Pursuit of Happiness channel on YouTube. And please do, if you're interested in all things to do with timeline edits and ETs and angels, please come and watch or listen to the Time Chronicles, which is the podcast I do with Starfire Tour. And I think I've covered it all. And do connect with me and friend me on Facebook as Grace Hope.
Very good. Thank you. And by the way, I watched years ago, I don't know how long you and Starfire have been doing your work together, but
quite a while.
I remember coming across videos of y'all years ago. I don't know how long we've been.
I think we've been 6 or 7 years, me and Starfire.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing the group missions. That's our main goal, really. Why we came together is to do these group astral missions, but that's a whole nother show that we could do if you want to go into that, the power of the wizard. And
I would love to have you come back on for that.
Another thing I wanted to just mention actually is I have a new TV show on a subscription only channel called Gnostic TV.
I see. Okay.
That's a subscriber one, but if you want to find out more about that show, go to the Pursuit of Happiness YouTube channel link, and you will see the trailers for my new Gnostic TV show, where it's great to subscribe and pay a little bit, because it helps people like me actually survive and keep doing our content, because YouTube tries to squeeze people like me out. I get strikes, I get my videos taken down, I can't speak freely. But, things like here or Gnostic TV, we're allowed to speak freely. So sometimes it really is worth doing that little subscription if you can afford it. Obviously, not everyone can, and that's totally understandable. Go and listen to my subliminal on abundance and wealth if that's your problem.
Can you send me on Messenger the ones that you have the free? Right now, I'm not in a position to do anything because I have lots of travel coming up. So I'm not going to be able to, but that doesn't mean I won't be able to, maybe in the fall, be able to reach out if I feel the need to. But I would love to hear some of your free subliminal if you'll send me on Messenger, and I will definitely share out your YouTube and get people to come your way and have a look.
Lovely.
Check it out. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ada.
Thank you. Have a fantastic day. I appreciate you coming on. And yep, I will be in touch about having you come back on about you and Starfire, the work you're doing. I would love to hear. I mean, I could probably just sit back and listen.
Oh yeah, that's a whole show in itself, and it'll blow people's mind. The power we actually have is unbelievable.
Do you think I've seen it in action? Coming on with you?
She may be, but she doesn't have a camera set up. So unfortunately, she's like a bit like you with computers. She's she's getting on in years, Starfire. She's been around for a long time. And she works on a very old computer, and she doesn't have a webcam properly set up yet. So when she gets that, she's trying to sort out a webcam so she can be visibly on camera. But she when we do a podcast, I record her voice, and it's usually a black screen because she doesn't have a laptop with a computer. She's using an old like Dell computer or something before webcams were a thing. And yeah, she finds it's a little daunting too, bless her. I do think it's a generational thing too. We just didn't grow up with them. So it's like alien.
And actually that's interesting you say that. I don't know if you're aware of this, but many years ago there was a video on YouTube of the secretary of Ronald Reagan's secretary who found a file in his desk called the Dummy Down program, where they were, and she did this. They took it off YouTube. I watched it several times. I used to share it out. Like I just was so aggressive with people and trying to get them to wake up, and it was bad. I mean,
been there, done that.
Yeah. But they talked about putting computers in all the schools where children aren't thinking for themselves, that they're depending on the computers for everything. And I didn't grow up with computers. I mean, but anyways, I'll keep talking to you. I enjoy talking with you.
Yeah. But I do have to jump off to go and do some sessions, my lovely clients.
Very good. Have a fantastic day. Thank you again for coming on. Everybody reach out to Pigtail Girl. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. All right.
And you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.